Good evening and welcome to Thursdays with NAMI. My name is Peg Morrison. I'll be your host for tonight. I'm the Director of Programs for NAMI North Carolina. That's the National Alliance on Mental Illness of North Carolina. Thursdays with NAMI is our way of building community and building conversations on the topic of mental health. So tonight's topic is very near and dear to my heart. It is all about dogs. I'm going to be sharing some images. This is a totally new approach to beginning our show, so you can tell everyone you were here when we did it the first time. So many of you know that NAMI North Carolina's mascot, Roxy Morrison, is my own fur baby. She is a constant companion that keeps my depression at bay. And in general, the benefits of owning a dog have come through in study after study. And these are statistically valid, scientific, academic studies. They help with depression, dogs do, anxiety and stress. They ease loneliness. They bring us joy and unconditional love. The list of benefits reminds me of what keeps people coming back to NAMI support groups, and that is sincere, uncritical acceptance. Here at NAMI North Carolina, we were excited a couple of years ago to learn about a group of Holly Springs students who started a club all about mental health. They called it an advocacy club, and they celebrated the birth of their club with a dog day at a local park. So you can see these adorable photos are all from that event. Fast forward to this year, and something awesome happened in Burke County, North Carolina. This spring, the local affiliate, NAMI South Mountains, began pairing rescue dogs with NAMI members who wanted to save a dog while boosting their own recovery. How did they do it? Well, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, who we are about to thank for their support of this show, funded the NAMI South Mountains program through what's called a community inclusion grant. We'll explore that in just a few minutes with our pet parents, Michael Lennon, showing currently, and John and Karen Widener. So, as usual, the first half of our show will be a conversation with our guests. About halfway through, we'll show a video of the week, and then we'll spend time answering your questions from the virtual studio audience. And as promised, a word from our sponsors. Thursdays with NAMI is funded in part by the North Carolina Division of Mental Health, Developmental Disabilities, and Substance Abuse Services through the Federal Community Mental Health Services Block Grant Fund. As always, we do appreciate their guidance and support. Moving right along, Thursdays with NAMI is recorded. So if you have a friend who couldn't join us tonight, please let them know it is never too late. We believe in second chances here at NAMI, and tonight's program will be available on the NAMI North Carolina YouTube channel within a week or so. Now, without any further ado, let's get to our panelists. Tonight we have Michael Lennon, who is a peer support specialist of Hickory in Rutherford County. He's here with his fur baby Otis. And we'll also be talking. Hey, Otis looks awfully comfortable there.
Yeah, I wish I was.
We'll also be talking with John and Karen Widener of Connolly Springs in Burke County. They are very active with NAMI South Mountains, and they recently adopted Jasper, who we'll be meeting a little bit later in the show. Welcome, everyone.
Hi.
All right. So, one thing that NAMI folks and peer supporters are really good at is sharing their recovery stories. We'll start with you, Michael. Tell us what challenges you've overcome along the way and how you came to be here tonight with us.
Well, you know, everybody thinks their recovery story is kind of unique. Mine is fairly typical for somebody who struggles with schizophrenia. The onset of my symptoms was in my early 20s, and of course, I started to hear voices, and then I, started to decompensate. Started to struggle with auditory hallucinations and stuff like that. And in my particular situation, my condition was med resistant, so of course it led to jail, homelessness and hospitals and insanity and misery and all that goes along with it. That really didn't start to change until I I got out of jail and I returned to North Carolina. I was jailed in Florida for a few years. And I returned to North Carolina and started working with partners via the CVBH program. And I can go on for hours about their ACT team, Hannah Hubbard and Tim Lentz and Michelle and Dan, and how they got this big 6-foot crazy person. I know we're not supposed to use that word, but out of his apartment and volunteering and then working and then supporting himself. And I was further blessed to become a peer support, meeting Shirley Moore and going through the peer support program, becoming a peer support, and then being blessed to work for a caring alternative for a few years. Wow. It really was a blessing. It made me thank God for the fact that I did struggle with schizophrenia, because it gave me a purpose. That knowing Christ as well as I do. Would you like me to talk about getting Otis and the role, like having, or just you want to ask me that question?
Yeah, I like that you're ahead of the curve. That's going to be the next question. I do have a question though. You mentioned the ACT team. Is that assertive community treatment?
Yeah, it's the sort of a community treatment team based at CVBH. Their ACT team. Usually people step down since it's the highest level of care, to the hospital. Usually you step down. But, I stayed with the ACT team for several years. As a matter of fact, living in CVBH's residential program as well.
Wow.
So no words.
Wow. Well, congratulations on coming so far. I can tell that you've done a lot of work, and you must be in a great position to help people who are struggling, because you can say, I have been there, I have suffered too. And I want to make sure that we can all see you. When you lean towards Otis, yeah, we can see you really well. When you lean the other way, you're half out. So
how about I just move it? Would it be a little bit better if you see me?
That's good? Perfect. Yeah, it reminds me of my little dog, who somehow manages to take up the entire couch on her own, and I'm like trying to find a spot for myself. So, all right, well, let's move to John and Karen. Tell us your recovery story and how you came to be with us tonight, John and Karen.
We're trying not to run into a tub. Come on. Recovery. Well, it's been a roller coaster. I was in remission for 3 years until COVID came along, and then I had to go back on meds. And so Jasper came along just in time, because I was in need of some rescuing. And I already had 5 dogs, but you can't have enough dog puppies now. Over the weekend, my sister was in the hospital, and we pet sat for her, so we had 7 dogs, and it was not too much. They were all comforting and loving, and they played well together, and it was wonderful, and I just felt like dog mom. So they're supportive and loving and caring, and the only problem is if I get upset and start raging, they scatter, because they know when mom's upset, they don't want to be around. Stuff starts flying, and they know it's not safe to be in my vicinity, so they go somewhere that's safe. We used to have the couch against the wall, and they would all hide on the couch, and we couldn't get them out. So we had to move the couch in the middle of the room so we could get out.
Yeah, dogs sure do know how to read people. I think as far as emotions go, dogs are at least as smart as the average person.
Oh yeah, they're smarter than I am, because I wouldn't even know I was upset and they would already be hiding. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. They just have a way of intuiting and predicting what we're going to do next. So, okay, so you were in remission from some kind of mental health challenge, and then COVID-19 kind of sent everybody's world sideways, and the dogs have lifted you up, especially your Jasper.
yes.
Yeah. And I know it sounds like you do have a nice pack there, a nice house full. But I understand Jasper's, and we don't need to go into details, of course, but Jasper's first home didn't work out. So you were rescuing him and making sure that he had a home where things would be a good fit. Is that right?
Yes. Well, at first we thought at least we could foster him. And then we thought, well, it wouldn't be fair to him, for him to have to go through another transition. So we decided we would be his new forever home. So because he got along so well with our babies, and it just seemed befitting for him to be our new baby. So 6 is enough. And 7 wasn't even too much. So I know it sounds bizarre, and our house gets a little smelly sometimes, but we can deal with that. We can fix that. We can adjust that. So, I even, okay, it's going to get a little loud.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I even had to get a person to help us with our housekeeping, because
Sure.
I have a hard time keeping up myself.
Right.
Since I started taking antidepressants again, I can't focus. So I can't keep up. Let's go out, babies. Everybody go outside.
Okay, I think you guys, this is probably a good time to transition to Michael. And Michael, why don't you tell us your adoption story while they take care of their babies there? So, but you're witnessing dog hair in real time, virtual studio audience. Is pretty exciting stuff.
Well, I'll tell you a story. Me getting older. I've been slowly decompensating since last year. My symptoms, which was I was diagnosed schizophrenic paranoid type. Slowly, that's starting to develop. I've been slowly developing bipolar symptoms in addition. And my internal dialogue, which I was always be able to distinguish between external sounds and external the world around
Computer?
me.
Is everybody there? Can you hear us?
Hey, Miss White.
We can't.
Volume button?
We're on Michael right now, so we're going to come to you guys in just a few minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well,
I must have hit the volume.
Go ahead.
I knew it. I knew this damn freaking crap was going to happen.
Oh my. I'm sorry, Michael.
Okay.
So you were
Yes.
saying you were having a tougher time telling what's external and internal.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Due to developing bipolar symptoms. So I'm slowly but surely starting to go to war with people around me as opposed to the people in my head. And I was struggling. I was neglecting my duties at work. I was withdrawing from family and friends who were trying to care for me. Neglecting CFAC duties, everything that I hold dear. As I was talking about my recovery process, I had a routine that I established that I did every day. Prayer and keeping clean and doing everything else, and slowly, that went out the window. So Diane Crescenda, who's a good friend of mine, who's also on CPAC, and of course a member of NAMI. She had already told me about a program that I used used to help some of my consumers who are in need of an emotional support animal. So I was like, I was kind of desperate. So out of the care blue, I just asked her if Miss Diane, would I qualify for that program? And she said, of course, no problem. And I went online and I looked at several rescue dogs and stuff like that. And I came on Otis, and this big guy who's taking up most of the couch. So I fell in love with Otis. So I drove up. He was located at Camp Outlaw, and I went up there. And he was very timid at first. I'm not too familiar of his life before, he was rescued, but he was just very cautious and very, Jerry told me, who's also affiliated with Rusty's Legacy. He told me that, I needed to take my time with Otis and get him socialized and stuff. At first he was a little food aggressive and dog aggressive with my other dogs and stuff. But, he just really wanted to have a home and belong somewhere. As I was working with him and him taking up my couch and eating half my rotisserie chickens, I started to realize, he's just a wonderful, great dog. And, he just, at first it was me giving to him, working with him, making sure he's had, but he's just been so invaluable to me because when I'm upset, he will come and lay his big head on me. And he's just such a great companion and dare I say a friend. I love this dog to death. I really did not expect to love him so much. I can't imagine not having him. And,
right.
I think I've been doing a little bit better emotionally and mentally as a result.
That makes perfect sense to me. It really does. I grew up, like I mentioned earlier, without animals in the house because other family members had allergies. And fast forward to being an adult, and I had dogs. I was married at the time, so my husband was a dog person. The marriage didn't last, but the relationship and the love of the dogs is still with me 100%. But you mentioned that sort of your internal dialogue. For me, when I'm not doing well, my inner critic is pretty vicious. And I found that when I had animals in my life, I was always talking to them and nurturing them. And that just set the tone for my mental space. And my headspace became a much gentler place.
Yeah.
And so I had a German Shepherd. That was like the first dog that was actually mine because I had her through the divorce, Molly. And she was ill for a long time. She had hip issues, and I was giving her pills and making her food on the stove because her stomach was sensitive. Anyway, she finally passed away, and I thought, well, I'm not sure I'm going to get another dog. It's quite an investment, and maybe I'll just keep life simpler for a while. I lasted maybe 2 weeks, and all those benefits, it was a huge difference for me, just not having someone to nurture, not having someone to care for, because that taking care of another person makes me take better care of myself. Yeah. And by person, I mean dog. So, yeah. So John and Karen very conscientiously called in a little bit before 7 o'clock, and they were en route to their home. And so I'm hoping that they'll join us again when they're ready and able. They took a break. Oh, there you are. You look like you're all set up now.
Yes.
Oh, great. So yeah, you told us a little bit about your adoption story with Jasper. Do you want to say any more? Introduce us to Jasper.
Right here.
Well, Jasper, we've basically been really working with Jasper. You know, he hasn't been with us very long. We were going to take, we were considering on taking care of him for a little while, but then he became more lovable and more loving towards me because of my anxiety, my PTSD. I have a lot of, I have to have everything in a certain way or I just get really upset. And Jasper really helps me stay calm. I have another dog that actually is very supportive for me too, and that's Daisy. They're both wonderful, wonderful for me. This is, well, come here, Jasper.
Daisy's jealous of Daisy's
There.
jealous of Jasper.
Yeah,
Aw.
this is Jasper. He's a very wonderful animal. He
This
loves
is
me very
Daisy.
much.
She's jealous of
Yeah,
Jasper.
that's Daisy. And both
They
of
are
these,
adorable.
yeah, and both of these guys, they love each other to death, don't you?
They're about the same size. Jasper's a little heavier and furrier, but they play very well together.
Yeah, but I mean, I have been battling a lot with depression and especially with the COVID and all. And I decided we decided just to actually keep Jasper because he is very, very supportive. I mean, I know he was at one home. He is having a little trouble there, but you know, he's in good hands now and he's enjoying his life. He's going to be going to do some training probably in the next week or two. Some more training that they're going to provide for him. So I'm actually looking forward to that.
That's wonderful. Now, I know you're a veteran, so I want to acknowledge that. I see someone saying thank you for your service in the chat box, so I'll echo that. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this is to John and Michael or Karen, whoever would like to respond to this. Are there specific symptoms, specific behaviors that you see that your dog helps you with or nudges you in the right direction?
Basically, they really are very supportive. They kind of keep me calm during the day. Both Jasper and Daisy, they know exactly when I need comforting, because I can be sitting in the chair and they'll just jump up in my lap and they'll just kind of nudge on me a little bit or something, saying, hey, you know, it's going to be okay. So, you know, it's very helpful.
Yeah. And Michael, I know you mentioned earlier that Otis kind of pulls you out. He pulls you into the present when you're feeling symptomatic. Anything you want to add to that?
Well, you asked about specific symptoms. My paranoia. When I feel that the world is coming to get me, just to not get into too many specifics, when I'm hearing those external sounds and I'm in voices that I'm attributing to people around me, if my dogs aren't barking, it doesn't always work, but if my dogs aren't barking, it can't be somebody out to get me. It's got to be, you know, in my head. Also, when I go red zone, sometimes I just completely click. It's not very pretty and not something I'm very proud of. But when I click, Otis or my dog Josie will bark. They will bark. They will sit there and they will bark at me, not in an aggressive way and not in a fearful way. I really truly believe that they've just learned, not from me training them, but just realize that there's something not right with me, and they'll bark, and I'll just snap out of it. And when they see it, I'll snap out of it. Like Josie, I don't know, Otis is still getting used to me, but Josie will come over and lay her head or something else like that. Those are the two specific symptoms that they, and plus just the safety and the white Mr. and Mrs. Widener were talking about, you know, just having these dogs. It's just their family, you know, and you're not alone, and you know they're like children, you know. I love having, you know, a rotisserie chicken and just throwing them to my dogs, sharing them and watching TV. It's one of those pleasures that, you know, I have in life.
Hold on, let me cover Roxy's ears because I don't need her to hear that someone else is getting that.
Yeah, those chickens get expensive.
Oh, they get-
Okay, and when you said, Michael, that sometimes you click, what does that mean? You're sort of freezing up?
Oh no. Just my auditory my voices were always very aggressive, very threatening me and my person and my family. And you know, for many years I just did not have a feeling of safety, no matter where I was. I always, you know, I could step into a room and my voices will make me paranoid about that room and just, you know, and it was a struggle. And I don't think that really changed until I got Josie about 6 years ago, until I had a companion that didn't really care that, you know, I was talking to myself or I was threatening people, just cared about me. And dogs are wonderful for that. Their loyalty and there's nothing better than them. I can't think of anything.
Wow. Well, you've shared some really powerful things and that makes a lot of sense. If the dog isn't validating that someone's outside the door, there's probably nobody outside the door. I get that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. John and Karen, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Well, all I can say is, just like like Michael was saying, that these dogs know that they sense your feelings. You know, it's kind of like when we just walked into the door and I was trying to get everything rested and everything. Actually, I have both dogs laying in my lap right now, and they're both trying to calm me, keep me calm, and they know these things. So having a dog and support is just a wonderful tool to use, and we like to go out and play with them, you know, and it helps with a lot of their emotions, gets you out of the house, you know, because instead of staying inside, you know, it helps me get out and go on with life and things like that. And we went to Lincolnton, like Karen was saying, and spent some time there with the folks there. And Jasper came along, and he was wonderful. You know, he wanted to go up and greet them, and you know, wasn't very aggressive or anything like that with them. So he was just very lovable.
Aww.
Yeah. So.
I agree with all of that with my own story, and they sure do have a way of warming our hearts. So we live in really interesting times. Michael mentioned the impact of COVID-19. There's a lot more isolation,
Yes,
a lot more fear. Our society is anything but settled. How are you all taking care of yourselves in these interesting times?
well, as far as ourselves, we're kind of distancing ourselves from people, you know, as much as needed, but we still interact with I would say your intermediate family, the ones that we know and trust very well. We lean towards them, basically our church family. We lean on them, and they help with the COVID things and trying to give us positive input and that nature there. I've been working with the veterans, and with me interacting with the veterans here in Burke County, I also take care of them as far as their service claims, and I call them, since I'm actually the adjutant for Burke County, I call and check on them. And, you know, with me communicating with others, it actually does help me not worrying too much about the COVID-19. I just kind of wish it would settle down, but time will come and it will. So.
Right. Right. Just need to hang in there together.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the most important part is being together. You
mhm.
need someone or something. These dogs are wonderful. And then having friends to reach out to. That's very important.
Right. And Michael, how about you? How are you taking care of yourself in these interesting times with COVID-19 and life being so different?
It really taught me a lesson about wellness and recovery. It's a constant process. You get to a point where you get a routine or whatever, and it seems to work, just like your medication, and then something will change, and just everything will go out the window. With the pandemic, I lost not my social, my family social supports, but I lost my natural supports rather. Um, I lost going to church 3 times a week, like to clean the church and Bible study and going to church, and I lost just going out, walking the dogs, going out and just. I lost a lot of the places I would go and people I would be around, even at work, that reinforced, you know, everything that I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be a better person, a better son, a better Christian, everything.
Mm,
And it was really devastating, and it makes me think, I am very, very rich when it comes to blessings. I am blessed to know some wonderful people, to have wonderful family, to have a wonderful church family. Not everybody's blessed like that. So I'm thinking about other people, some of the people out in the woods and stuff who struggle the same way I do. And all these resources aren't there because of the pandemic. And,
mm,
it makes you wonder.
mhm. Well, I see Otis has come back to you, so that's good.
Oh, yeah. I think he couldn't get into the room with the crackers in there. So he was trying to get in there. There's these peanut butter crackers he's trying to eat. So he couldn't get in there. So I think he gave up and got on the couch.
You gave it a shot.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit again about the adoptions. We talked about the process and how you came to find your wonderful fur babies. For those who aren't familiar with the term, community inclusion is how this program came to be. Community inclusion initiatives ensure that everyone feels respected and included in their community, regardless of their ability, disability, healthcare needs. It can apply to any disability. Of course, with NAMI, community inclusion looks and focuses on mental health. So we're looking for natural supports. What can we do to help people find things to do in their community, just like everyone else, and feel a part of? Because that's a big thing with mental health. It has been in my life and just across the board. Isolation and mental illness really do go together. So to each of you, what does community inclusion mean to you?
To me, community inclusion means basically just going out in our community and actually sharing, especially with the dogs, just sharing the support that the dogs can actually have or the effect that it can actually have on someone's life. Because there's a lot of people that are actually struggling, and they don't know that these things actually are available. So community inclusion to me is more of getting out to the public and just being able to share the stories of how much this actually has helped me with my anxiety, my depression, the PTSD combined. It's just it's a great tool.
All right, thank you, John. Michael, any thoughts?
Well, I think just dogs, by their just general nature, they're not cats and they're not gerbils or my snake fangs. They don't stay in a tank and they don't usually stay indoors. You have to take them outside, and that's I think the wonderful thing about them. You have to take them outside. You have to walk them. You got to spend time with them. With community inclusion, I mean, just walking your dog. Just for an example, you're gonna run into somebody else walking their dog, and
Mhm.
you're going to have to acknowledge that person. That person has to acknowledge you. And like you mentioned, isolation is it's terrible for people like us. We can't be isolated. And I'm talking a lot of junk because I like to isolate, but it's not good for people like us because it's detrimental. We need to be around people. We need to be invested in other people's lives and other people's concerns and pour into other people and other people in the community. So that's what I think.
Right. Yeah, the dog walking definitely resonates with me. I'm very good at walking my dog around my neighborhood. And eventually I get to know my neighbors' names. It seems like almost immediately, though, I remember the dogs' names. So and it seems to be a common thing with dog owners. Like, we remember the other dogs' names, and then eventually maybe the people names will follow. Sign of a true dog person. Okay, so next question. All of you have been involved in peer support or other helping activities. Have you noticed among your customers that pets are a big boost to their wellness?
Without revealing anybody's confidentiality, I had a particular consumer that was struggling with really severe depression. And it was hard to get this person to engage or to go outside or anything else. And had this one phone call with this person, and this person was just like, I really wish I could get like an animal or something. Just snap me out of all this. And again, thank you, Diane. It's got to be God, because it was just like maybe a week before Diane called me, and she called me several times, called me and reminded me of this program. So I was like, hey, let me make a phone call with your permission. I think I got like a consent, and I asked, hey, can this consumer get this? And I was just amazed at how everything was paid for, and and then just the effect that this that the dog had on this person was a remarkable turnaround. Now a lot of these consumers, they need something. They need an emotional support animal. They need something. It's usually just, a lot of them on SSI or SSDI, and there's just not a lot of money. A dog or a cat is very expensive. Everybody, really. You think vet bills and food and everything else, and just NAMI being able to provide all those things, it's a really great program, in my opinion.
Right. And of course, you were mentioning Diane Cresanda, who's the board president of NAMI South Mountains, which covers Rutherford, Burke, Gaston County, Cleveland County. And she spearheaded this grant project. Just for those who don't know, they cover the startup costs of having a dog and some of those early costs that hit you all at once: the adoption fee, the vet bill, a little bit of training, some food for a while. So it's not like a lifetime cost coverage, but it's a good boost to help you get started. And I love your comment about feeling safe with dogs, because so many of us, either because of the mental illness or because of trauma outside of mental illness, it's hard to feel safe with others. But dogs, you've got that unconditional love, that safety. It's like, bam, it's just there. Yeah. So how about you, John, Karen Widener? Any comments?
I've actually met a lot of veterans that actually have support animals, and I've talked to them. I actually went to a DAV conference, and there's this one gentleman there that had a support animal, and he was in a wheelchair, and it was so amazing to watch this dog take care of his needs. He would drop something, the dog would just immediately pick it up and give it back to him. I mean, it was just an immediate response. And I'm like, that's very, it's very nice to actually have that support there. And, I feel really a lot better, a lot safer. Just like you were saying, that our dogs do alert us if there is something going on outside, and it does get a little rowdy sometimes, but they're going to be out there first before I will, because I mean that's just their nature. That's just their nature. They want to make sure that we're safe, and I believe that very much.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you have a very joyful pack.
Yeah, well, we have some that are just older. That we have two that's about anywhere from 14 to 15 years old.
Yeah, we have a 15-year-old and a 13-year-old.
Yeah, these two were. One was actually in the pound, and we just didn't want to see this dog being put down because of, there was no way you're going to see anybody adopt a dog at that age. So
well, she was 10 when we adopted her.
Yeah, and the other one, her mother, Karen's mom, became feeble and not able to take care of him. So she asked us to take care of him, and of course she will send us funds or whatever it need to actually take care of him if needed. So he's been pretty good. He was more of a rescue dog. He doesn't like males too much.
Okay.
But he's more attached to Karen. So I think Karen actually receives a lot of therapy from him being around her.
And that's Jasper.
No, that's Cricket.
It's actually Cricket.
Cricket. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It must take your friends a little while to get all the names down, but I'm sure they get there.
I was having trouble remembering Jasper's name. And so I just called him Trump for a while.
That's not too good.
I couldn't. Well, that's the name I could remember.
Well, some names stick and some names don't stick quite as quickly, but we're about to move on to our halfway point and have our video of the week, which is an exciting moment. Is there anything you all would like to add about the program or recovery thoughts before we shift gears and go to our video and our questions from the studio audience?
Here's Cricket.
Okay, nice to meet you, Cricket.
The only thing I'd like to share is that there is support there. It's just that I'm here to support as much as I can. I love working with the veterans. I love working with all people. So
And dogs.
yeah. So I recommend it highly.
Right. How about you, Michael?
Just, like I said earlier, I am grateful to God that I have the struggles that I do, the mental health struggles that I do, because I meet wonderful people like the Wideners and NAMI and ACA and partners and CBH. Met so many wonderful people who do so much, and I don't think I was a very good person or a very nice person to begin with, but I know what good people are now. And just the fact that, I can get a support animal, and there's a program for people like us. And it benefits the dogs as well. We never even touched them. These are rescue dogs. They need a home. A dog shouldn't be in a shelter. A dog shouldn't. Every dog should have a couch and everything else. And there's people, they're in need, and people like us are in need. And it's just really good that NAMI brings those two things together. So I'm very indebted. and grateful.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, all of you, those were some very eloquently put words, and I appreciate your being here tonight and sharing your stories with us. And I especially appreciate your sharing your stories and the specific of your mental health challenges and how your dogs have helped with that. I know, in my experience, it resonates so much, the things that you've shared, how they make us present when we're not doing well, how they lift our spirits and let us know that we are safe. So thank you for all of that. Now we're going to shift away from the interview part of the show. And we're about to move to our exciting video of the week. First, I want to thank our behind the scenes helpers. Executive Director Gary Kreitz is always wonderful. And Eddie Simmons on tech is always very helpful as well. So thanks to all of you there. And this is a rerun video of the week, but it just seems so perfectly appropriate for tonight that I absolutely had to choose it. So before I start this, though, I also want to thank Michael, John, and Karen for being with us tonight. Here we go.
Whoa. Do you do that?
Oh.
Well,
That was
that's,
intense.
that's pretty good.
Tracy had to comfort me.
I know. So that video shows off the talents of Eddie, our intern who's helping with tech tonight and helping in many ways at NAMI, North Carolina. So yeah, and if that got your attention, stay tuned for our October 10th conference, our annual NAMI NC conference. He'll be making the technology jazzy and exciting on that day as well. So,
Well,
okay,
thank you,
virtual.
Eddie.
Yeah,
say
that's
thank
fun
you, Eddie.
stuff.
Appreciate it.
So now it's time for us to take your questions, virtual studio audience. And here we go. We will try to take all of them before 8:30. We'll get through just as many as we can. And so are Michael and Otis at the NAMI South Mountains Peace Center with Diane? Yes, they are. Michael, do you want to add to that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just went to one ear and out the other. Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Someone was wondering if you are at the NAMI South Mountains Peace
Oh,
Center.
yeah. I forgot where I was. Yeah. I'm here. Otis is on the couch with me, and I'm over here in Forest City at the NAMI office.
Yeah, and I guess the couch and the picture were a giveaway, and Otis just looks so comfortable there. It looks like a very homey scene.
Taking up most of the couch, actually.
Yeah. And so the next question is, Michael, are you a veteran also?
Veteran. I was in the military briefly. Again, that was pretty much close to the onset of my symptoms. So did complete basic and AIT, but I wasn't. It was the reserves, and I just U'd out. But I did enjoy being in the military. Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like it wasn't the cause of any of your symptoms or stress.
No. It's rather strange. I don't really have a family history of schizophrenia or any other than depression or something. And it's just pretty much sprung up on me. I mean, I did in my earlier young years struggle with depression, but never hearing voices. It just, I guess it just happens like that.
Yeah, you just never know. There's so much about mental health challenges that are unknown.
Yes,
At NAMI, we say that it's an organic disease that has environmental triggers, just a lot of variables out there. So it's in my family as well, but it's different with each person, I believe. Yeah. Okay, so are these dogs being trained as service dogs? That's our next question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. White.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, Michael.
No, well, Otis, I mean, he knows to sit, stay, well, when he wants to sit or stay, but no, he's not. I think with just particularly with Otis, it's just, I don't think he really needs any really particular training when it comes to me as an individual. He's just, he's big and he's lovable, and even when he's messing around or knocking something over, it gives me something to do. It keeps me engaged, and I don't think he needs any specialized training when it comes to me. So.
Okay, and I think I should clarify, the training that we refer to that's being paid for is standard obedience training. It's not
Okay.
some kind of legal certification. Yeah, I just thought of that. John, Karen, did you want to add to that?
Actually, Jasper is going to be going through some more obedience training. He has a little difficulties with getting in the cars and things of that nature. But when we got him, I worked with him for a while because he did not want to go. He did not want to have anything to do with a crate. And now he thinks it's the best place in the house. He goes in his crate. He just loves it. And so, I'm trying to work with him to make him more comfortable here. And, he's very obedient. He listens very well. He just has a little bit of issues with getting in the cars and things of that nature. But so we're looking at probably extending his training just a little bit, and I think he'll be really good.
His only problem is that he's a high energy dog, and that it makes it challenging for him to be still. He's like me in that regard.
He likes to have his playtime, and his playmate is, Daisy and
Junior.
To see them two out there in the yard yesterday playing, I was just like, oh my goodness, that's just amazing, because nobody never could hardly keep up with Daisy. She's so fast and quick. And Jasper, he was just right there with her.
And they're the same age and the same size, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so they play well together.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of fun. It's always fun to watch dogs that play, they wrestle and they're so silly and they do a dance. So
Yeah.
that's always a joyful thing, I think. Okay. Yeah, Roxy doesn't spend a lot of time in the crate, but she does see it as a den. So sometimes she'll hang out in a crate or under a table. It's like her little house. All right. Next question. Do your dogs accompany you when you go shopping or to other businesses out in the community?
With me, actually, no, so far. I've taken Otis to maybe PetSmart or Petco and stuff like that. Usually, no, just Otis is, he's a little high energy like Mr. Jasper. So, and he's considerably larger too. So he'll pull your arm out of the socket. So hopefully I'll get him to the point where I can, go to Walmart or whatever that would allow him, access. But right now, no, no, not at all.
We definitely have to wait till they're ready, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I've as far as that goes, I've taken Jasper, just like I say, to the center there to
the homeless shelter.
The homeless shelter. So
Aww.
I've taken him there to the homeless shelter, and he was wonderful to them I haven't really taken him out to anywhere like to Walmart or anything like that. So, but eventually I would like to actually get him, around that area. I'd like to do that.
Yeah, but we've taken our other pets to Rural King and Lowe's and PetSmart. We're not afraid to take our babies, but we haven't taken them in Walmart because they're not certified helping dogs.
Right. Yeah, it seems like the home improvement stores and of course the pet stores are very dog friendly, pet friendly, but it's not universal, that's for sure. So,
yeah.
All right. So this question we kind of just answered. Well, have either of our guests been denied access by some of these businesses, gatekeepers at the business?
Personally, I haven't really had any of that experience as of yet. But I mean, I've seen people that actually has taken dogs to this new Walmart that we have. So, I haven't personally experienced that.
I know that there are a lot of pet-friendly hotels and motels, and I know not everybody's doing a considerable amount of traveling nowadays. But La Quinta, the Red Roof, a lot of these hotels and motels will allow you to have dogs. As a matter of fact, recently I was with Otis, and we were at the La Quinta. I slept on the floor because she took the bed. But he is a big dog. No, I'm kidding. But they were just really pet friendly there. They had dog biscuits and everything. So that's pretty much the only real experiences I have with like pet things other than Petco and PetSmart.
Right. Right. And I don't know if it's still the case. Red Roof Inn used to not even charge extra to have your dog in the room. A lot of them will say, sure, bring your dog, and it's an extra $40 a night. Red Roof used to not do that. I'm hoping it's still the same, but I'm not sure.
Dr. Terry Morris.
So, yeah, I noticed you were reading, John, this helpful bit of information from Bob Creighton. Do you want to bring that up?
Actually, I was noticing about Bob Creighton posting about Dr. Terry Morris. That's one of the sources that when we actually got, me and Diane and a few others were on the call with Terry, and she has a wonderful program about dogs. That's all they really do is train dogs, and that's what really got us interested in that. So.
Right, and she trains them to support animals for veterans in particular, which is a beautiful thing. And they are rescue dogs. So Dr. Terry Morris was kind enough to join NAMI North Carolina's Military and Veteran Committee a couple months ago, and she told us all about what she's doing. Very energetic, uplifting person. So good. Thank you for bringing that up, Bob. She definitely deserves a shout out. And this question is, John, where will your dog be going for training?
Okay. Our dog is actually going to be going to training. I don't know if I can remember the name of the trainer. Actually, he's basically about the only trainer here in Burke County. And this individual was a military, I think it was like a military MP, police. And that's all he did was actually train dogs for military. And then he came out and he started training dogs for the police officers here in Burke County. And he trains them as, helping dogs, service dogs, or police dogs.
Or drug dogs.
Or drugs, So he's been training for 20 some years, I think it was. And he's been doing a really good job with Jasper. And he come out from his first home. He said that Jasper was really kind of spooked a little bit and everything like that. So he had to work with him a little bit before I got him. And when I got him, he was just like, Jasper is just like a baby, He still has a few issues, but you know, it's like I say in the car and stuff like that. So, but
Diane tried to put him in a crate in the car. It did not work at all.
No.
But he got in our laps in the car.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. So.
Well, it sounds like you're taking all kinds of positive steps. And it's interesting. They call it obedience training, but it's really training the people too. And it builds the dog's confidence because it teaches us as humans. I'm not great at this. Roxy just happens to be well behaved, but this is what I understand. It trains the humans to communicate more clearly and award the behavior you want. So the dog isn't confused by us as much of the time.
Sure.
That's a beautiful thing. Also an interesting note from our executive director, Gary Kreitz, that they call them rescue dogs because they rescue us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Michael, did you want to add anything?
No. Thank you so much for the opportunity. But I had no idea. Somebody just put up that you can get a service dog registration from DHHS. I did not know. That is definitely a resource, and you know, I need to tell other people. I had no idea.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of good information in the chat box tonight. So thank you, Bob C., for that. I appreciate it. Bob is always up on the latest news and the latest resources. I can vouch for that. So there's one last question right now in the Q&A box. It's about the community inclusion program in general. Is there a flyer or information sheet we can get to share at our NAMI, Cumberland, Harnett, and Lee Counties affiliate to talk about this program, or to share that with the CFAC out there, and that's the Alliance Consumer Family Advisory Council. And I would contact Michaela Cardona, who is at the NAMI NC office. It's mcardona@naminc.org. I believe it was in the chat box earlier. And right now, the funding is good through NAMI South Mountains, and so the funding is for that service area in particular. And that includes Rutherford, Burke, Cleveland, and Gaston counties. If you'd like to bring that funding into your county, you would want to work with your local affiliate. It may be possible. I don't know the status if you've already got a community inclusion grant out there. I know you've got one. Anyways, follow up with Michaela and she will tell you what you can do, and if it's possible, she'll try to make it happen for you.
And as actually, I'll just throw in there, as far as for Burke County, if anybody in Burke County, I don't know if there is anyone, but if you know if someone's in Burke County, you can always point them towards me. I would be glad to direct them in the right direction, or anything I can do.
All right. Well, we're running out of questions, so I'm going to start my wind down information. We do end at 8 if the questions slow down and the energy seems like it's time to close up. We don't want to keep you here like it's mandatory. So again, thank you so much to our guests for sharing your story and sharing your beautiful puppies, Karen, John, and Michael. You've been wonderful, and my heart goes out to all of you and your dogs. I can tell they're all going to have wonderful, happy lives with you. So thank you for sharing your recovery stories with us. Thanks as always to Gary Kreitz, our executive director, and Eddie Simmons, our highly talented tech intern, for the video and for the general support tonight. Last call for questions. Okay, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to let Roxy, our mascot, say hello.
Oh, I want you to meet Bella.
Oh.
Bella is our Roxy lookalike.
Oh, really? Aw.
Can you see her?
They've got the same hairstyle.
Bella is 15, but she is just as spry and lively as a puppy. And when she came to be with us at 10, we had a poodle who was not fixed yet, and poor old little Bella had puppies.
Oh my goodness.
And But she was a wonderful mom. And fortunate for her, she had little bitty mouse-sized puppies. She had 7, and 5 of them survived.
Aw.
This was one.
Oh my goodness.
Our little Gracie, and she's 5 years old, and we just adore our little Gracie.
Well, go Bella, you still got it. And
I'm shutting up. And I love NAMI so much. I'm so
Yeah.
thankful for NAMI. I would not be where I am in my stage of recovery without NAMI.
Yeah, NAMI's been really good in our lives. It's actually brought us something that we actually can go out and actually help and do for other people. Because we do a lot of facilitating of different support groups around Burke County, and we're really just sold out to NAMI. You know, NAMI's just been a blessing for us.
We've learned so much.
mm-hmm,
And Diane is such a help.
mm-hmm.
And you are too, Peg.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, Peg. You do so much for us.
Well, thank you so much. And
And
I'm glad you-
Michaela.
Michaela Cardona, who's not here tonight, she does amazing work. She's been spearheading community inclusion for the last year for NAMI North Carolina, and she always does a great job. So again, thanks to everyone. I echo your feelings about NAMI. When I first learned about NAMI, I was in a very bad place mentally speaking and wasn't sure I'd ever work full-time again. And NAMI was just part of me rebuilding my confidence slowly and going from part-time to full-time, and eventually really getting more comfortable in my own skin and connecting with people who have just been through the ringer, but have so much wisdom and empathy and have so much to give. So a lot of gratitude here. Any final words before we wrap up?
We are so blessed to have been able to meet Michael.
No, absolutely. It's a pleasure meeting you, Michael.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's like I said, I spent a lot of years thinking that I was cursed and you know, just what the devil meant for, you know, to curse you with is God's blessing. And I just, I'm so grateful to you all. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Maybe I'm looking forward to actually meeting you someday in person there, Michael. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yep. Well, it'll happen soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, once things are back to normal, I look forward to getting out there and seeing you all in person too. But for now, we're going to wrap this up before I start to cry, because there are a lot of beautiful comments that have been made. And thank you so much again, everyone. So now in the next week, please take care of yourselves and the ones you love. Do what you need to do. Go where you need to go to be safe. And we're here for you should you need our help. So this is Peg Morrison signing off with NAMI North Carolina. Have a wonderful week.
God bless you all.
Good night.
Good night.
See you, Mr. Wider. See you, Mrs. Wider. See you, Miss Peg. God bless.
Bye. Nice to meet you. Thank you, Michael.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye, John and Karen.
Bye.
Bye.